Men are withdrawing from the dating market because they have been fighting an uphill struggle against women. What follows is actually happening. Things of worth and a positive nature. Men and those in positions of power are leaving the dating scene in greater numbers. I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's look back at the liberation of the country and the changes that occurred in the 1970s and 1980s. Eventually, positive developments occurred. Women were influenced to act a certain way by the love fads of the 1960s, the late 1990s, and the early 2000s. That reflected who they really were. Through the years, many digital platforms have emerged, and the concept of pickup artistry has gained popularity. Evidently, men had identified a technique by which they might comprehend the character of women and exploit this comprehension to their advantage. New subreddits and communities devoted to women's interests sprang up at the same time as the power structure of society shifted and women won more and more privileges. For the better part of 8 years, guys all around the world got together online to talk about women and how much has changed since they first started talking about it. Men from all areas of life have been warned that approaching women carries an unfavorable risk to reward ratio. They've convened a meeting to deliberate the situation. As a result, the red pill has become a symbol of a complete ideology and a popular way of looking at human nature. Conversely, if you convince someone of the merits of the red pill through discussion, they will change their mind. Millions of people have sought to disprove red pill views, but those beliefs keep appearing to be validated by evidence. In this precise instant, the underlying structure of the world is becoming clear. It is now more likely than ever before that women will prevail in the process of divorce, which has led to a rise in the participation of men, who control this substantial amount of the resources and authority. The judicial system has been responsible for the huge drop in income and power experienced by a number of well-known celebrities, including Johnny Depp. It's incredible that we've come so far as a society that even influential people can now spot hazardous games. It's proof of how far humanity has progressed. They've started performing songs on the present events. Once upon a time, a woman's word was enough to guarantee a wealthy man's total protection. Wealthy and influential men are expected to attend as well. Former celebrities and powerful figures are losing their professions in droves. They've realized they're no longer safe, so they are adopting red pill values. This type of attack was recently made against Vince McMahon. Many prominent people in their field will be well-known experts or internet celebrities like Andrew Tate or themselves. Even if you've spent years building up your riches and your network of friends in the media, you'll still get banned if you bring attention to the red pill. One woman speaking her thoughts is all it takes to bring you to your knees in a world where women have an insurmountable power advantage over men. We think that for many guys, the red pill symbolizes the ultimate awakening. Then we can say that this assumption is true. I'm curious as to how long you think it will be until the vast majority of males realize that women act in ways that run counter to everything they've been taught about human nature. As more and more men throughout the world show support for Andrew Tate, it is clear that it is time for men everywhere to see women for who they really are. Seeing folks like Andrew Tate earn attention and support from people all across the world has led to this conclusion. This data helps explain why so many men with marketable talents are leaving the workforce. They've only admitted fault and learned that the old mechanics of riches no longer apply, with scandals and rape charges now having the power to end their lives entirely. Males in the middle class are still ruled by their biological tendencies. This is the one constant. As far as I can tell, this is the only constant. In MGTOW, things have progressed further. Some of these individuals place premium on their intellectual capacity. They have given up entirely on women because they value what they can bring more than what a woman can offer biologically. Most of these men do not believe they need a woman in their lives to be happy. Having a woman who can act as a mental equal partner for both of them is much more essential to many men than the thought of sleeping with multiple women. It seems difficult for males like this in today's culture to establish a normal, stable family with a normal, stable woman. They have concluded, as have the rest of us, that the gender of the people experiencing these issues is irrelevant. For me, the most monumental and paradigm-shifting event in human history will be when males everywhere are able to look past their inherent biases and recognize what is truly occurring to them. This is the only way to make women's influence on us irrelevant. When this happens, and only then, will we be able to convince them that a woman's intelligence is her greatest asset. The true reason why women are at a disadvantage in the dating world is that they lack bargaining power. That women cannot negotiate is an argument often heard. The market's elite share their values and principles. To achieve them, men exert effort, and those who do so successfully leave the competition in their wake. Try to imagine for a second that, instead of napping for the previous 2 decades, men had been acting like real men. Picture if women always had to resort to their bodies to gain power and influence. A man inquired why she would go to such lengths for such brief satisfaction. Imagine the repercussions for our culture if that happened. You are insane if you think this is my future if I choose to be more upbeat about things. Loss will be greatest when high-value men, like actors and millionaires, decide to leave the workforce because they have calculated the potential downsides of pursuing sexual relations with women and have made the decision not to accept the risk. When famous people pass away, including performers and millionaires, their absence is felt profoundly by those left behind. Men who no longer desire them will make them compete for their attention. And if there's consensus on anything, it's that women will never have positions of real power, such as wealth or influence. The other women will have no choice but to come clean about their roles. Men who no longer desire them will make them compete for their attention. Multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires are more likely to have done so by their own hard work, while female multi-millionaires are more likely to have been born into fortune or to have obtained their wealth through divorce. Despite the notion that most male millionaires and billionaires are self-made, the reverse is actually true. I won't waste any more time explaining it to you because you already know the solution. Fortunately, market alphas are realizing this about themselves, and as a result, they are gradually joining the ranks of the rest of us males. As the truth surrounding these issues becomes murkier, women continually improve their discriminatory skills. The market's top female buyers and sellers set the dynamics of the dates they set up for their leviathans. You probably already know that there isn't much to do in this area, which is why the guys who are picked by women as partners often end up miserable. I don't know if you've made up your mind on these guys, but I'm going MGTOW for a long time. Wait a few years and you'll see how desperate ladies are to get married and establish a family if you're a young man and your hormones are driving you crazy and you have no idea what to do. If you're a young man, this is especially true for you. Men may begin to wonder why there was so much fuss over women if the MGTOW keeps climbing at its current rate. And instead of worrying about women's rights, they'll spend their free time doing projects, playing sports, and working out. Numerous men today are gaining the insight that this is true, and they are appreciating the inner peace that results from it. Since these men intended to waste all that money on dinner dates, it has been done for a long time by a large number of them in a wide range of settings. They might get a new drone and get their photography endeavor moving further. Instead, consider how the lives of married men are getting worse every day, and how Leo DiCaprio continues to date a different woman every 5 years because he refuses to settle down. Furthermore, the average age at which people get married is rising, and more people than ever are discussing the laws of divorce, leading many wealthy men to realize that they are in an impossible situation. Thus, in conclusion, one might say that this is the prevailing trend. I think it's strange that women are the most dominant gender in offices and the media. Yet in their pursuit of power and promotion up the ranks, women have compromised their own power by implementing discriminatory laws and making women the target of discrimination. I bring this up because it is ironic that women are doing this, since women have historically degraded themselves socially by insulting, cheating on, and stealing from males all throughout the world. They have only themselves to blame for their eventual extinction. In the end, these fellas take the red pill and joined the most successful men's rights movement in recorded history. They took advantage of a magnificent setting teeming with bidders who could have provided them with ideal lives, but instead turned on them. She urinated all over it while acting like a queen. They acted like way in pursuit of the ideal life. These grown men have faced reality, admitted defeat, and withdrawn from the game. Men, use this as a reminder that women are not deserving of your utmost respect, and that you should never place them on a pedestal.